Welcome back to Country Tough with Brandy Von Holten. Today, I have someone with me that's been in my life for so long since we've opened up Von Holten Ranch. I'm talking about from the very beginning. I think that whenever you first started coming, we didn't even have all of our stall barns. I know we didn't have an arena.
No, it was 2015.
Oh,
and I remember because I got lost on the drive here because it wasn't even on Google Maps yet.
Oh, yeah. Well, now, sometimes whenever I look at Google Maps, it still has like the old farmstead. But this person's been with me for so long and done so many different things with our ranch that now I'm all like, we're going to be friends forever. And her name is Taressa Rankin. So let's go ahead and do a little education on the name because you got to get it right so you can find her. Okay, so it's not Teresa. It's not Tessa. You're going to have to learn a new name. It is Taressa, and it's Taressa, Taressa. And her last name is Rankin. It's Rankin. And the reason that you need to know how to spell that is because she just won Missouri's Best Horse Trainer for 2024. So she didn't even know about it, and I was like, wow, I'm so proud of you whenever it came up, and you were like, I'm not Missouri's Best Horse Trainer. I appreciate it, but it's done on votes. So enough people believe that you should win that you did.
Well, thank you.
Oh, man. So let's learn all about Taressa. So I'm going to tell you, here's the cool stuff, okay? Boom, I'm going to tell you cool stuff. Her family's amazing. She's a cool mom, and then she's like really strong. She's got 3 boys, and then she does foraging, and then she breaks Mustangs. Well, I don't know if you say break, but you like form a relationship with Mustangs. She's competed in Mustang challenges. She's on our CT2V, which is Country Tough Trail Versatility. It's a competition series. She's on our national board, and she judges for us. She competes, and then she owns a grocery store, okay? Like, this is really cool. The other day I called her, and I was drinking kombucha, and she was milling her own grain to make bread. Yeah. So, anyways, all right, so Taressa. Whew. All right, so tell them, what's your husband's name? What does he do?
Okay, my husband is Chase Rankin. He is in real estate. He's a broker, realtor, so he owns his own business and has been in that for several years now. So
okay.
And then we have another. We're entrepreneurs, so he has an air gun business where we manufacture industrial strength air guns and ship them all over. And then the grocery store, he's there quite a bit.
Yeah. Now then, Chase, you know what? This is going to be a spelling contest podcast, okay? Because his name, you would think Chase is Chase, Chase, but his is Chais, okay? Yep. Now then, how many kiddos do you have?
We have 3 boys.
You have 3 boys. What are their names?
Kyler, Camden, and Canyon.
Okay, there you go.
Yep.
And they are amazing. They've come to some of our at Von Holten Ranch. I own Von Holten Ranch. It's a horse trail riding facility, but we do all sorts of other stuff. And your boys have, your oldest one has competed in a couple of different associations. And then 2 of your boys, the 2 oldest, they've come to our building things, like with Building with David is a it's actually online. It's a wood shop where we send you all the pieces, then you build through video, and then we send you a curriculum. But whenever we were first starting that, we had some of them in person, and the boys came and built with us.
They absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And there was a horsemanship aspect to that kind of day camp feel to it as well. It was awesome. They absolutely loved it.
Yeah. So tell us, how far apart are each one of the boys?
5 years. That's my timeline. I don't know.
From the oldest to the youngest?
Well, so the oldest is 14, the second is 9, and then the last is 4. So there's 5 years between each of those.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, they had to be, I think it's when children are 6 years apart, then the way they're raised is the same as an only child. Oh. So you never let them be an only child. Almost, but nope, it was 5 years.
I wanted to enjoy all of the baby age, and I guess about 4-ish is where, they're getting more independence and becoming more themselves. So mom's not needed as much, and I needed another baby.
So are you done with the babies?
For now, yeah. Like I'm never.
That says no.
Yeah, I'm never gonna say never, but for now, if you talk to Chase and I, we are no more.
Okay, I don't think you're done. I'm gonna go ahead and put my money where I think that it belongs, but I think there'll be another one. And boy, if it's a girl.
We've got a lot of grandparents, which is amazing, but it's so different. I had one grandparent growing up, and my kids have both sides of grandparents, and then they have great grandparents as well, and it's just a whole different dynamic for gift giving. And
oh yeah. So why don't you tell us about your foraging before we get into the horses, because y'all are going to want to know about the horse stuff, but tell me about the foraging. How'd that come about?
Okay. So just trail riding, and maybe I forgot a snack or something. It's just genuine. I think just whenever you're learning about being self-sufficient and wanting to, be able to provide for yourself, it makes sense to know what you can eat that's right out your back door. We live on a family farm with a lot of acres, but a lot of things that you can eat is just literally right out your back door. Plantain leaf, things that, have medicinal purposes. I just have really enjoyed. I'm just very on the brim of learning more about that, and it's just intriguing to me to learn more.
So, okay, 2020 rocked us, and now we want to be more self-sufficient in general. Okay, I was already very independent, but now I'm like, okay, right. And now I feel like I literally cannot learn fast enough.
Right, I feel the same.
Oh, I'm like, why did we catch ourselves in this? You know what I mean? We're so dependent upon other people to provide us with food.
Right.
And I'm like, no, that's not okay. We had an archaeologist actually come out to our ranch, and then we wanted them to survey to see what we had edible here. Mm-hmm. And he found over 30 different edible things. A lot of them were medicinal properties of them. Yeah. But he's like, you have so much. And I love knowing that, but I don't know what they are. And then some of them you've got to do different seasons. Some of them you can do the leaves. Some of them like the root. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in kindergarten whenever it comes to foraging.
Yeah, I'm in kindergarten. Yeah, maybe preschool. Like I'm just learning it, but I love it.
I am so early on that I think if my mom dropped me off at foraging school that I would cry the first day. Okay, that's how young I am in it.
Yeah.
Which, how cool is that I feel revived by wanting to learn this information.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't care that I don't know it, but it just, I don't know, it just planted that seed to want to learn it more.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. So my husband and I, we feel like we're just normal people. But then whenever we've went to some of these homeschool expos this year, and then we're going to homesteading expos, I did not realize how much we know that other people don't, because I feel like I am
green.
I feel green. So we've actually started Country Tough homesteading because I made kombucha.
It's amazing, by the way. I've got to try Randy's kombucha, and it is really good.
Well, I've got to get snaps out to my friend Rebecca Austin because she's the one that taught me. But I love it. Now I'm experimenting with different things. But kombucha is fermented tea. It's a natural probiotic. It's extremely simple to make. Mm-hmm. And then I have a freeze dryer, and then I do ice water baths each day. And then I just bought a sauna, and I have not done the sauna yet because I think I've got to do it before the ice water bath, but I've got to research that because changing my body temperature, I've got to make sure I do it right.
Yeah.
So trying to do a whole bunch of holistic health, because the ice water baths, I know that seems like so cray-cray, but I think it's now more cray-cray to not do it, because I haven't been sick this whole year. My inflammation's gone in my legs. I can tell a difference in the way my face looks. And, I feel better. Yeah. And I recover faster. Like, I've had several injuries this year, and none of them messed me up for more than 3 days. Which is crazy.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not the healthiest person. I'm a large, heavy-set woman, so like recovering usually takes a while, like lower back if I hurt that. But those ice water baths, and you know what? I feel like we've been lied to for a long time, and I think that people that are well don't make money for other people.
Oh, right. I agree. Yeah, like going to the doctor, which there's a time and a place for that.
Yes.
But like becoming dependent on that and reliant on whatever that Band-Aid is that doesn't actually get to the root cause.
Right.
I don't know. I love root causes. I love finding them out in relationships and to the food sources, like just getting to the root cause to your health. Everything about that intrigues me.
So we have a Mennonite lady that owns a store that's not very far from us, but they are all about how easy it is to make medicine. And they were like, you would be surprised at how easy it is to treat yourself and to, learn things they're grown. But people are so afraid. Like a lot of people, including myself in the past, I thought that was out of, like, you basically had to be like a rocket scientist to learn how to do something in medicine. And people have been taking care of themselves for a long time.
Yep.
So,
and there's so many things that are like the plantain leaf. A lady on the trail ride today was talking about plantain being something you can make a poultice out of. Just chew it up, put it on poison ivy if you get into it. Well, my kids have got stung by bees or wasp or whatever it was, and we do the same thing. We chew it up and we put it on the sting, and a kid that maybe got stung in the neck didn't have a headache an hour later, and you could have hardly seen where that sting was the next day. So, just knowing those little things that are so available.
Right. So we're trying to get into honey. That's our next thing is bees.
That's intriguing. I would love to learn more about that. That's one of those I just am scared to, but it would be awesome.
I am petrified too. But we have, in my life, I'm trying to find these resources. And I have a lady that we sold her honey ice cream. It's called Geoffrey's Apiaries or Apiaries. I don't know how you say that, but Geoffrey's, and they make ice cream, and it's made from Missouri dairy, and then it's sweetened with honey that they actually are the ones that have all the hives. Awesome. So she's got like 130 hives, and she's like, oh, you want to have bees? They're so easy. Here you go. I help you. Here's what you got to have. And I'm like, And then my husband's brother, he got really big into bees, but it didn't work out where he was, so he had all the equipment. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'll be the place. Let me combine these people, and then I'll share my honey, whatever, because I'm sharing their knowledge and their supplies. So honey's the next thing. You know what scares me? My Instapot.
Oh, yeah, I get that. Yeah. I don't have one. I don't have a can. I just learned this past summer I started doing like water bath canning. I'd done it before with other people, but this year I'm like, okay, I can do this. So I grabbed out a great grandparent hand-me-down old-fashioned water bath canner with rust in it and all, and I started water bath canning jams.
That's awesome.
And made with flowers that I give to Brandy sometimes.
Oh my God. They've been so good. You've given me two. One of them was called Cowgirl Candy. Yeah. So what was in that?
It was just geranium flowers and jalapeno.
You said just geranium.
It was so
flowers.
easy. So I have geraniums in my flower boxes on my house, and then I have jalapeno plants growing and like in my landscaping. And I went out on a rainy day and I picked geraniums and I picked jalapenos and I boiled them, made a tea, made a jam, and water bath canned it.
Yeah. And I actually had your jam for lunch today.
Yay!
I had peanut butter and jelly.
Yum.
So that's what I had for lunch. You know what? Whenever you grow up and you own a horse trail riding facility and you're a published author, you can have peanut butter and jelly because you're so freaking hungry and you don't have time to cook.
I love a good peanut butter and jelly.
Dude, I have a panini maker, and I make a panini peanut butter and jelly. It is ridiculous. I make it with a sourdough bread.
And then I might be hungry right now.
If we're over here like a peanut butter and jelly panini on sourdough, that's delicious.
It sounds it.
So, what's your next thing in like homesteading basically? What's your next step is maybe?
I think it is going to be more like the canning side of things. Like I've done the water bath canning, which you can do with the less acidic type foods where, like the pressure canning and stuff, that's a little more intimidating to me, but I'm still like, I want to do that. So getting into that, again, that's the thing that scares me though.
So our next thing that we're wanting to do is we have a lot of meat in the deep freeze, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we're towards the end of the electricity. Like there's like 4 more houses past us, and like the electricity actually ends with us owning a trail riding facility. I mean, we have a wedding venue, our house, we have 4 cabins, we've got 32 electric sites. Like there's such a huge
shop.
Yeah, the shop. Mm-hmm. I mean, my barn, my boarding barn has, we're in an office right now in there, but that stuff takes so much electricity, and we're such a big surge of electricity right there. I'm afraid that if it ever fails us, like, I think that we wouldn't be a priority to get fixed because there's not a lot of, we're only 2 humans on this big surge of electricity, where this same amount of electricity could serve all sorts of other homes and stuff. So it would be in their best interest to not help us as quickly as some other place, which I get that. I get that, right? So I don't want my deep freezes to stop and then us waste all that meat.
Okay,
so,
we literally had that happen the day I was coming here. We had, a couple days before, there was a storm, and it was terrible lightning in the middle of the day. And we checked all of our home appliances. We did not check the freezer that was in the garage. I mean, it happens. It happens so fast. I went and fed the dogs before I was leaving, and the garage smelled, and I was like, "Oh no, I know what that is."
No.
So thankfully, it was not completely full, but it happens. Like, to think about those things is just reality. Like, to be practical, to consider what you would do in those situations.
Well, that's why we've got that freeze dryer. So I'm like, okay, I want to get where I want to have maybe 25% of our meat storage be deep freeze. I want like 25% to be canned. I want us to can it. And then the other 50%, I want it to be freeze dried.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm a nervous person, but I don't know if it's not needed. I feel like it's a needed nervousness.
Right. No, I love, like, even asking people, in older generations, how did they used to keep their food cold? And I had an aunt, and she talked about how they would lower their food into like a cistern or like running water deep in the ground. And that was how they kept their food colder.
Well, we have an artesian well that's in the yard area of our wedding venue, and that thing lets out 22,000 gallons a day.
It's amazing.
And the water that comes out of there, I think, is 54 degrees. So before we had electricity here and their water was flown out, we would just put a bottle of water, and then that other running water would go across it, and it was like, oh, this is so cold. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you know what's so funny? Now with me doing those ice water baths, I have a small water trough, and I drain the water and then I refill it because the artesian well's already letting out all that excess. I had someone on Facebook that was like, "You're the reason there's a drought in the Midwest." And I was like, dude, first of all, you don't understand the artesian well, and like I'm basically just using runoff. And then as soon as I'm done, I open up a drain and I put it right back into where the water was. I mean, it goes right back into, we have water diverted where it goes right back into the creek.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, no, I just borrowed it for like 3 minutes and the world can have it back.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
So, all right. So what do you carry at your grocery store? What is it called? What town is it in? Like, tell me what you have at your grocery store.
Okay, so just to be honest, I'm very hands off on the grocery store. My husband and I are 50-50 owners with his family, his parents. But I do very little with it. But
so you can tell us just big picture.
Okay, so it's Our Orchard Country Store, and
Our Orchard Country Store, and tell us about the logo.
Okay, so I drew the logo with my thumb on my phone. And I used a little bit of very not professional software to help me out with it. And my father-in-law was going to have this big sign made initially because we were, rebranding. It was a Mennonite store before called Miller's. And so in the rebranding, I just kind of, played with this logo. It was fun. And
it's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
It's like a kid swinging, right?
It's like a tree for the orchard, and the tree connects with the O and the orchard and everything, and has a little kid swinging in it. But anyway, so I literally drew these leaves on this logo with my thumb, and my father-in-law tells me he's going to have it made into this huge sign. And I'm like, hang on, it is not a professional looking thing at this moment. So anyways, I refined that minutes before it got sent off to be put on this big sign. But the cool thing about it is a couple weeks later, I noticed that the receipts have the thumb drawn leaves. The receipts still have that original logo. Okay. That was really just a rough draft that we were going to send to somebody professional to refine. But we ended up just going with the little
I love that though. I love it because it's like a return to the way that things need to be. I mean, you bought a Mennonite-owned grocery store, and it's called Our Country Orchard.
Our Orchard Country Store.
Our Orchard Country Store. Now, what town is that in?
It's north of Buffalo, Missouri.
Okay. Now then, you do not ship yet, right?
Actually, we started an e-commerce business just probably a few months back.
Okay.
So yeah, we do have a website. And it's not our full, like what we have in stock, but there are options to purchase online.
Okay. So now then, whenever I went in there was a whole bunch of candies. Okay. Like
that's our big seller
candies.
There's a lot of old fashioned candies, the knick-knack type things that you don't see everywhere. And we buy it in bulk and break it down by hand and put it in smaller packaging
and y'all have all sorts of flours. Do you sell salts and sugars?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, what's do you know the largest bag of salt or sugar that you sell?
I don't know. Maybe 50 pounds.
Okay, because that's my next thing to do is I want to get 50 to 100 pounds of sugar and salt. Yeah. And then I started using a vacuum sealer that's rechargeable, and it pulls all of that out. And I'm like, this is so much easier than what it used to be.
I saw your little video of the little bitty one you put on a can.
Yeah, you can use a regular ball jar lid or a wide mouth, and it takes less than 20 seconds.
It's amazing.
And it's got to be dry foods, can't be wet. So, all right, guys. So if you haven't figured this out, we got so many things in common. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be able to stop and eat different grasses and know what they are. Like, she did this Facebook video where she's like, this is kind of nutty. This is a little bit bitter.
Yeah.
But here's this. And I'm like, I aspire to be like you. I'm not good at foraging, but we have so many mushrooms and that I'm like, okay, I've got to learn how to do all of this.
I just took a foraging class, probably last month even. And I don't know, it was really educational, but I was surprised how much I had already figured out just by going out and being like, if you don't use it, you lose it kind of thing. Yeah. I have an app on my phone to identify them. And then I have a couple of books that I use as references. And Nicole Apillion is one of the authors that made a really good book. She was on the Alone documentary type series. I don't know. Have you heard of that?
I haven't.
Okay.
I don't watch TV unless I specifically go to watch something. My husband's a TV watcher, and I'm all like, oh, I wish it was off so I could read. Yeah.
You would probably like Alone because they literally drop people off literally alone in the woods. They have to film themselves. They're so alone. And anyway, that honestly might have inspired some of this education, like how to be that sustainable and the foraging, like, because they're always foraging for what's there in whatever environment they're in. I haven't watched the show in probably a couple years, but anyway, it definitely planted a seed but anyway, that author, Nicole Apillion, she has a couple of really good books.
Okay, so now then, let's talk about horses. Okay, because like you are just like I typed in this podcast looking for horse stuff, and we've talked about some nasty freaking grass and mushrooms for like 20 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
But that's where my heart's at. That's where my interest is at.
Yes. And you can do both. Yeah, like, I literally am on a trail ride, and I'm like, hey, let's eat that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Oh, my goodness. So many people think that you can only do one thing in life, and I'm just like, oh, no. I had to sit down with 3 pieces of paper to list out all of the different avenues of our business. And we have different LLCs and different DBAs underneath each LLC. And people don't even understand all that. And I'm like, oh, man, I wish I could get all this done. And then I have a whole nother segment that I want to do. I love that stuff. I love the thrill of figuring things out.
Me too. I love learning.
Yes, I do too.
And I'm okay. Like it's okay to know what you don't know. To me, that's inspiring. Like to get to know it better. Yeah. You know, it's a little bit of a challenge.
So with the horses, what made you choose or decide to do your first Mustang makeover?
Okay, so a couple different things. I remember one time I had went to a local fairground type thing, and there was a horse demonstration gentling thing going on, and it was actually confidence building. And I was raised toughen up, buttercup, ride it out, cowgirl up. not, I'm so thankful for my background. It gave me grit, you know, you write it out, you learn how to fall.
My Taekwondo instructor told me that grit's like one of the things that you can't teach people. They either have it or they don't, but they get it from those hard lessons.
Yeah.
So,
I got that. Yeah, I had that growing up. But then I became a mom. I was a young mom. I was 17 when I got pregnant, 18 when I had my first kid. And then I still loved horses, but the way I was approaching them, I didn't feel safe. And I had this new gut instinct of, you're not invincible, be smarter. So when I saw this clinician, it was Tim Brock at a local deal, and I was like, okay, that's better than what I'm doing.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
I know so many people that just adore him. They adore his facility. He's a wonderful guy. Where is he located out of?
Fairgrove. They recently sold BC's Stables and Training Center, but they are still doing things there. I'm not sure what the arrangement is, but it recently sold.
Yeah, you need to look this guy up. He's one of the good guys because I have yet to hear one bad thing said about him. And if you got something bad to say about him, don't say it to me because I'm on team Tim Brock. He probably doesn't even know my name, and I'm like, yay!
He's a great guy. I love him and his family, and after seeing that demonstration, I went and I took a clinic with him. And again, it just opened the door to wanting to know more. After that, I actually came here, and they had done some Mustang gentling and competitions. I actually didn't see much of that while I was there, but when I came here to Von Holton Ranch for one of the first obstacle organizations, which was ACTA at the time.
ACTA was the American Competitive Trail Horse Association, and they went under, but they were a huge competition series that was nationwide, and we actually got to host one of their last competitions.
The Great American Trail Horse Festival.
That was our largest event, 2015. I had to cash in my retirement, and we spent it in 24 hours trying to build infrastructure for that. I know. I spent my retirement in 24 hours. I know.
I didn't know that. But I knew it was a huge thing. And I knew, what was that? What year was that? 2015?
2015.
It was because I came here I had never done an obstacle competition. And I came here in 2015 for the small, it was a small one. It wasn't even a sanctioned thing. It was just a obstacle competition. It was fun. And then from that, you were like, you got to get into this competition. Yep. And I came to my second obstacle competition ever, and it was that one. Yep. It was ACTA, the Great American Trail Horse.
And you won a buckle. You won the overall buckle.
Yeah, and it was literally my second competition like that ever. I've never done anything like that.
Yeah, and the horse that you competed on, wasn't she have one eye?
She was blind, yeah.
Her name's Baby.
Baby girl, yeah. She's blind in one eye, yeah, and she's an amazing little horse.
I love that horse.
Yeah.
So, at that, John Lyons was here and his wife, and Guy McLean was here. Lee Hart was here. I mean, I had some big names here, and that was an amazing thing. Yeah, I hate that ACTA didn't make it, but I sure am. You know what? I sure am appreciative for that event because it opened the doors for Von Holton Ranch for so many things.
And it filled pockets of knowledge CT2V, I feel like, has been, you have seen all of these other organizations, what works for them, what is, good for the horsemanship of it. Yep. You've been able to take all of those concepts of gives and takes of what's good and what's not good, and then compile them into CT2V, which is an amazing competition.
So, yeah, CT2V, Country Tough Trail Versatility, and we have a website. It's CT2V, and I put that number in there because if it was CTTV, okay, first of all, I didn't want to have TT in the middle of something. Okay, that's weird, okay, because little kids either have to go PP or TT, and I didn't want that in my letters. And then it also looked like the pi sign whenever you have it embroidered. Okay, so I'm like, all right, well, I want to have a number in it for it to be different. But the thing that I love the most about it is A, I was a competitor before, and then B, I've been a host. So there's some of these associations that we've hosted for, and I had to send more money into the organization than what our part of it. And we were the ones with all the expenses. They were getting the royalties of it. And I'm like, dude, I am making somebody else so much money. You know, and then I love versatility. My favorite association that we hosted for, it never did really like take off for us because a lot of colleges hosted. So a lot of people don't compete in it because they think that it's a college thing. And it's really hard to have hosts because you have to have cattle. But the American Stock Horse Association, I love that association. It was my favorite one. But then I always love obstacles because I feel like it's done great things for horses. And then I love ranch dressage. Okay, well that scares a lot of people with the word dressage. So we have a ranch horsemanship section. But dressage is just a curriculum for horses. But then the biggest group of people that I come into contact with are trail riders. So, but I wanted to have real trail, not timbers in the arena. I wanted to have real trail, and I wanted it to be a versatility. But from a host standpoint, I didn't want to have a cattle section. And a lot of people have no business being around cattle. You know, you can get hurt really fast. And then our cattle, whenever we ran events on them, they use so much energy running and, you know, being they didn't ever grow up. It's like they were stuck in childhood. So we had like little bitty dwarfy looking cows because their energy wasn't used to grow. So that was hard on us as cattle ranchers. But CT2V has ranch horsemanship, trail, and then natural obstacles, and then we blend that all together for an overall versatility.
Yeah. And
it has no speed component.
Yeah.
So
a time limit.
Yeah, most definitely.
But you don't get awarded for going faster.
Nope. So, so how many Mustangs have you adopted now, do you know?
So I've kept 3. I have tip trained a couple and adopted.
What's tip training?
So trainer incentive program. I don't do that very often, but that's just where you get them and you gentle them to, you know, be able to be caught, pick up their feet, trailer load, groom. Just makes them more adoptable. It's less intimidating for somebody to adopt a gentled Mustang than it is to get one completely wild. So I've only done a few of those, though, and I've done a few Mustang makeovers. My first Mustang, I actually got, so we went down a bunny trail.
Yes.
So that's how we got on the act. And there was a guy here riding a Mustang, and he was doing an extreme Mustang makeover, and he was doing fantastic in that competition. I was like, what is this? Like, I didn't realize that was possible to do this. You know, I don't know. It just kind of sparked the idea of, okay, I can do that. Again, that challenge of learning. And then also like just not only making yourself better, but the opportunity to like help. There's a whole lot of Mustangs and holding facilities just kind of going to waste. So that intrigued me to try to, you know, help in that way as well. So I ended up getting my first Mustang. I had never touched a Mustang. I had never started a horse from scratch.
That was Saul, right? Saul.
That's Lucy. Lucy was my first one. Yeah, she was a really good first one because she was just kind of I got spoiled. I rode her on day 5 and she just was kind of easy. Okay. And I say that she's also one of the most sensitive horses I have. So, I mean,
and you still have her.
I still have her. Yes. I bought her back in the auction, and yeah, she's with me to stay through the ups. I call her my dragon sometimes because she can be a little redheaded dragon, but she's just sensitive. And, for the most part, she's really amazing. She's a very dependable horse. She helps me train other horses. I pony from her a lot. And
tell me all your Mustangs names that you've had.
Okay. So my first Mustang was Lucy, and officially we love Lucy because, and she's a fun redhead, so it kind of fit. My next 2 were tip horses. One was Story, and one was Nolly.
Okay.
And then I had another extreme Mustang makeover horse named Shawl. He did really good. Like a week before the competition, he got sick though, so we had to drop out of that competition. Which honestly, it meant I got to keep him, so I was okay with that. He's been really good.
I got to ride Shawl.
That was so. And then my next one.
Or am I wrong?
Yeah,
wrong.
Yeah, that's okay. So my next one. They have a player's choice, or had a player's choice extreme Mustang makeover. So the first ones, you show up and they give you a folder. You don't know what horse you're getting. You just show up to the holding facility after you've been accepted to compete, and they give you a folder with that horse's information. You have no idea what it is, how old it is, where it's been. You just know you're getting a wild horse. So anyway, you kind of get what you get at that, and you work with that horse. I love that because it's a fair starting point for all the trainers. Then you have 100 to 130 days to gentle train, compete. With Miko, the Player's Choice Mustang, you actually it was kind of a gamble because you buy the horse, but you don't buy the horse. You're buying your entry fee. But to buy the horse, it was a bidding thing. So I made myself a thing like, okay, I'm not going to spend more than the initial bid on this horse because it's you're not buying the horse. You're just buying your entry fee. Mm-hmm. Some of those horses went for like over $5,000 just as the entry fee. I paid $150 for Miko, and he was
Miko the horse I rode?
Miko's the horse she rode.
That's the first Mustang I ever rode was Miko.
He was amazing. He was so good. I was like, okay, I cannot keep this horse because I keep the quirky ones that need me. This one will be good for anybody. Mm-hmm. And we ended up, so that competition started out with over 100 people. And I don't remember. So the top 10 go to the finals, and that's where you get money, or if you win in the other competitions of it. Anyways, with that being said, we were like less than a point from being from the top 10 in a group of 100. So that to me was almost more meaningful than whenever I got 5th place on my first Mustang, because there was only 30 people in that one. So anyway, I don't know, just like how your mind works. In my mind, it was really cool to take a horse with that caliber of trainers. And
so you went from 5th out of 30 to 11th out of 100.
Maybe 12th. I don't remember exactly.
Right. Okay, so
yeah, it was right in there. It was like a point different. And I literally went to that competition without having a freestyle planned. I had no ambition. Like, not that I didn't have ambition. I just didn't think it would happen, that we would score well in that caliber of trainers. And I just about had to compete in front of thousands of people with a freestyle that wasn't planned by like less than a point variation.
You were like, oh, I'm so happy I did not place top 10.
Right. I really was in that because I just would not have been prepared. But, the life experience of that is like, what you are capable of, and, don't limit yourself.
All right, so this is Taressa, and we are going to do a part 2 maybe in a little while. So a part 2 maybe a couple of months down the road. But if they would like to find you, how can they find you? Okay, so my business is TR Horsemanship LLC, or Taressa Rankin, as Brandy spelled my name, Taressa Rankin Horsemanship, and that's on Facebook. That's the best way to find me. You can message me, you can write me. You can call me. You can text me, 417-527-1834. Okay. Now then, Taressa, I asked her, like, hey, are you training horses? And she's like, yeah, but I'm booked up all the way until next year. So, like, that says something. And the fact that I have had this really long relationship with her, and the fact that people are handpicked to be on our board. So, like, if you're listening to Brandy Von Holten and you trust what I say, well, I trust Taressa Rankin. So you need to, if you're needing help, this is where you need to go. Whenever we co-teach things, she can watch horses and be like, oh, they're in the correct lead in the front, but not in the back. And then she is so quick to see the horse stuff, where I'm like, pick your chin up. You've got your right shoulder down. Like, I wish that we could merge our knowledge.
Yeah, because Brandy is excellent. She's an excellent teacher, especially with people. Like, she can see what they need to work on. And me, I'm so focused on if the horse is doing what they're supposed to be doing correctly.
Well, and I have found if I can fix the person, then they can get out of the way of the horse. And then the horse, you've got 2 people to fix. You've got to fix the person. You got to fix the horse. I feel like I'm helping horses with people problems.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yes, definitely. I feel the same for sure.
Yeah. All right, guys. And then if you're tuning into this and you're like, whoa, I know who Taressa is. I didn't know who Brandy is. You can look up BrandyVonHolten.com. And my name is Brandy with a Y. And then Von Holten, there's no A in my last name. It's VonHolten. So it's BrandyVonHolten.com. Or you can look up, we've got all sorts of really cool stuff. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok. You're going to see me in a bathing suit and getting into an ice water bath. Or you're going to see me doing push-ups right now. So you've been warned. Okay, you went ahead and signed the waiver whenever you listen. So that's what you get. All right, we'll tune into you next time. Check out Von Holten Ranch. Check out TR Horsemanship LLC. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to Country Tough with Brandy Von Holten.